Chapter 1, 2009, Redimere, Maine, November 7. Guy Gagney was ready to give up and head home when he saw the blood. There was just a little on some leaves. It looked fresh, though it was drying in the crisp morning air. Guy was deer hunting, and his first thought was deer, wounded, maybe now dead. But he'd seen enough in the Maine woods in his 70 years to know it could be something else entirely, something less innocent than a wounded deer during hunting season. Later, when the police asked, he couldn't put his finger on it, but when he saw the blood, he had to find out what it was. The silver dollar-sized drops were close together, then got farther apart, smaller, the way they do when something that's bleeding is fleeing. The deer, had to be what it was, had stayed on the tote road Guy had been crossing all morning. His heart pounded as he followed the trail. He was excited, tingly, weak in the knees, the way he felt when he jumped a deer. It wasn't really the same. Either he'd find one dead or worse, wounded, and he'd have to put it down, or he'd find something else. The drops had gotten smaller, hard to see on the dried leaves in the dim light of the woods. "Dim light of my old eyes," he admitted. He thought he'd lost it, was almost ready to give up, when he saw a drop where the weedy brush at the trailside was crushed, a copper spot on a green frond, then more beyond, in the woods. That one was dark and thick, not a dollop, really more like it was poured from a gravy boat. A crow beyond the brush gave a sharp warning caw, circled around. There were 3 or 4 crows circling, diving. He pushed broken branches aside, sidestepping the tacky puddle of blood. A woodpecker's rattle echoed somewhere. A few feet off the trail, the crows dive-bombed and hopped around a couple mounds, bright red, some with traces of brown or gray. He let out his breath, let go for just a second, of that fear this was something else.